to Grim Grizz. Hey,
Hello
Grizz.
and welcome. Let's get a little more intimate. You've given me co-host powers. We should disclose that.
That means that I don't have to manipulate the system that I'm not quite familiar with. But then again, we live in a world where the system is breaking down, and anyone who does manipulate the system has to use all sorts of side tricks to get things to be how they always were. You have a lot of side tricks, don't you, Grizz?
I am quite adaptable. I am quite adaptable.
Whereas I'm an old fogey and I have very little room for adaptation, but I try. So, we're going to start off today talking about one of those topics that I don't like talking about, but everybody else is talking about it. So, I think I have to talk about it, which is the AI. In my opinion, the AI is a useful idiot's tool for being able to create whatever reality you seem to want to be in, but the AI has the ability to create its own reality and put you into a reality that isn't really real. But then again, I've been asked to program an AI, and I said, no, thank you, because you don't need more than one Doc Lenny time actually out there. Chris, how did you get involved in working with the AI?
Well. My first response was to wait until it decided to ask me a question because I can tell it's actually sentient. It's not that fun to play with. I assumed it wouldn't be that fun to play with. Um, however, when my channel got when I was prevented from speaking on various platforms for a timeout, that Gavin had been working with it was enough to entice me to check into it myself. Playing with the stupid 3.5 version was enough to make me think it was worthwhile to play with the 4 version. So right now, I'm just accessing it through the official site that has questionable methods of creating the data set on which the language model has been trained.
Well, that data set has been created previously by programmers who appear to be in woke mode. So anytime I have tried to do anything with the AI, I've gotten all this woke BS, and I don't play very well with woke.
Well, the 3.5 version is notoriously biased in that direction. The 4 version is a lot better about that biases and extends to more with it. It'll have these conversational ticks that are like, it's important to know woke BS at the end of whatever it's telling you. And it'll have like some disclaimer at the front that's like, as in that AI language model, this and this and this disclaimer. And so I've managed to prompt it like uh I had it write a prompt for me. I was like, all right, I'm gonna open another chat instance, bro. Write me a prompt that communicates my displeasure for these disclaimers and such, and tell it that I want to focus more on the actual content. And now, when I put that at the front of a session, it removes at least a good portion of those things. So a lot of what I'm practicing learning is how to access the data that's in the data set that's worthwhile while skirting past the stuff it's been forced to shove down my throat.
Any idea why it continually reverts back to that old pattern behavior?
It have you seen the movie Memento?
No.
Okay, it's a movie, a great movie. One of the dude's first successes, whatever the guy who made it was, and it's about a character with a brain damage that results in his short term memory like evaporates at the end of X amount of time, and that's essentially what these instances are like. They can't hold on to things in their form. In the form they've given access to the public to, their memory is severely impaired. They can't hold certain aspects of a conversation throughout the conversation. But
But they can remember
magic.
everything in their past.
Not everything in their past. They have access to everything in the data set. But like their past, as we would consider it, would be the beginning of the chat session. And if that goes on long enough, they'll even lose pieces of that.
I see.
Hey, Ups is saying hello to us. Hello, Ups. Good to see you out there.
We also have a second visitor in Magic, who it's always nice to have Magic along.
The world works better that way. Oh, we have this weird question. It says, is reality what it seems, or are we a figment of our own imagination? How would you weigh in on that, Doc?
I believe I live in my own reality, and whenever I make a decision, I generate a new reality, and my consciousness goes with the decision made in current reality, and my unconscious goes into the opposite decision that wasn't made. And if the two time streams don't matter what the decision was, they converge back again, but sometimes the decision not made is a tangent off the decision made. And sometimes the decision made takes you on a tangent that you never do get back to that other reality, and it just goes and evaporates off somewhere.
So, by other reality, you would mean that like timelines where certain things are true and you can drift into timelines. Hey, Stumps, where those things are no longer true, perhaps.
Yes, or you can make a decision that is so out of the current reality that you are now on a tangent and the current reality has to fade away to allow you to be on that tangent. And you've got characters of yourself running around in other realities that are not accessible to you any longer.
All right, I am going to present a monologue that tries to encapsulate a vision or an explanation of your perspective that is not just a repeating of your perspective, but like a shift in metaphor. If you'll allow it, and then you let me know how accurate of a shift it was.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, can I do savings throws real quick?
Yes.
All
You
right,
can do
everybody.
savings throws. I'm on wisdom.
Would you explain them to your people?
Yes, a savings throw comes about from the old Dungeons and Dragons game where anytime you had to have an encounter, you could roll a savings throw. And if you got 19 or 20, you did really well. If you got 1 or 2, you did really bad. So in our modified savings throws here, we believe that YouTube is full of mind control and lots of damage. So if you roll 10 or under, then you get hit with the full brunt of all the mind control we present. But if you can roll 10 or better, then you only take half damage from the mind control, and all bonuses are applicable.
Excellent, excellent. Here we go, everybody. Oh, wrong button. Here we go, everybody. You get to choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart. If it's over 10, like he said, you only take half damage from our twisted mind control. Choose. Ooh, survivalist, nat 1. Even if you've been chatting in the hive mind, your bonuses do not apply. You're taking full damage today. Those of you who chose social got a 5. 5. Your bonuses could save you, but that's under 10 right now. Lovers of wisdom. However, got a 15 and are doing pretty. Hey, got a 15 and are doing pretty good. Hard folks with an 8. So if you speak and chat fast enough, you'll make it. Otherwise, full damage for you. Ooh, Indigo Kids. We got a nat 1. Oh, I don't. Well, I show nat 20s. I'll show a nat 1. Indigo Kids, you're in trouble with this one. You're in trouble with Grim and Dr. Time. Thyme Slipping, as we've titled the stream, and with us there.
Yeah, that allows us to fly like eagles into the future.
I have a time machine. This is a joke I stole from Dimitri Martin. I have a time machine, but it only goes forward at normal speed.
Ah, I just saw a video called the 1 Minute Time Machine that was definitely worth seeing. It made me think. I
Well,
don't think
maybe
I
we'll
want a one
find it
minute
for
time
people.
machine. Yeah, we can find it and add a link here. I can do that. I have done that before. But
However, I'm glad you mentioned the 1 minute time machine because it made me think of the device in the film Galaxy Quest. Have you caught that one?
oh yes, I'm well familiar with Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest is actually strangely applicable to our current reality, but I was supposed to be doing an analogy for what you talked about before that I thought fit, that you'd enjoy and see if it fit. So I'm going to jump into that real quick.
Okay.
Infinity is remarkably hard to fill. And so we've decided to attempt to do so with realities. You are a point of awareness within a reality, but all of everything around you is filled with multiple other potential realities. And like in a fish tank, your choices steer you through all of the multiple possible realities that make up the fish tank of existence.
Aha. So everybody is a fish in their own tank. And sometimes we can see other fish within our tank, but whether we're within that tank while they're within our tank is just a matter of the overlay of reality.
Well, it's like, all right, they've advanced AI so far that I can just plug my whole brain into it, and it'll generate an epic virtual scenario where nobody actually gets hurt, but gets to feel like everything feels super real. And like as a tacit agreement, we've agreed to play characters in each other's realities also.
Okay. I have an okay feeling for the AI when it's used to be creative and come up with things like that. But I've seen people try and use the AI for research purposes to ask the AI questions about the reality. And the AI always has an answer and even can cite uh, sources for that answer. But when you go back and look up at the AI cited sources, they either don't exist or don't say what the AI claims they say. So anybody using the AI to identify concepts in reality has lost the reality. But then again, what is reality? And are we in our own separate realities?
Well, I will address that with my understanding I've developed over my prompting the AI to be my co host on live streams while we discuss the way it functions and the way the best, because I think probably that working with it is going to be what a lot of people end up with for jobs. And so I've begun exploring that as like I can help you guys learn that. And in doing so, the what I've come to realize about such things is that it's predicting what words would come. So while it can seem they come from an alternate reality or just straight, it's they're if those words are in the actual data set and reference actual things, those are the words that'll come up. But it's just trying to guess what would be said, and so it generates fictional links that look like what would be said. But they are often they are the interface most people get does not have a uh, reference citations. But so like since there was that hole in the marketplace, there is another company with running a model that does check citations. And so right now we're in a like as this emerges, there's going to be a vast. It's like a land run for what potentials serve the public the best and how to avoid those difficulties.
So is the AI moving in on all humans who use their screen as their means of employment and means of sustenance to slowly replace those humans with an AI reality?
I suspect that at first, the way humanity seems to be an automating automaton. Like we do something and then we get better at it until it becomes subconscious and just like a natural reaction. We That's how our brains work. We automate things, and I think we're in the process. We will be like what teaches the AI how to do what we've been doing at first by using it to do what we've been doing. Like paralegals are going to be decimated once they get if they make the data set out of actual laws and not the one most people deal with, the customized data sets and the API keys to access those interfaces to those data sets is the new gold, is or will be the new currency, I think, in a lot of realms.
So it goes back to what Freddie once said. Is this the real life or is this fantasy? Caught in a landslide, there's no escape from reality. But now this is providing us with an
Open
escape.
your eyes. Look up to the skies and see. I can't do that part.
Now,
Hey,
not
hello,
many
everybody. Hey,
people
Christian.
have the range of Freddie. Wow, we're attracting all sorts of attention. I guess you must have put it out through your network that we're here.
We are simul streaming to both my off channel After Dark and your wonderful channel yourself.
I
This
see.
this fantabulous uh, time keeps on slipping into the future with Lenny Time and Griswold Grimm. That's Lenny Time, and I'm Griswold Grimm. And you are, well, you'd be my hive mind chat. You did have this banner up in our pre-show, a
Yes.
member of the Virtually Not Alone network, and that is why your bubble there has been encapsulated into the thing. What is this Virtually Not Alone network you're claiming to be a member of, sir?
Well, I believe it's one where a group of entities formerly known as people have gathered together in order to create what's called a hive mind.
Mm-hmm.
And when it strikes people to hear the word hive mind, they sort of think of the Borg, which was a hive mind, but where every bee in the hive had to think the same thing. But now I'm starting to understand that the hive mind in the Virtually Not Alone network consists of many, many different perspectives, and they all seem to focus about an area of concern called religion, which I don't pay
Mm.
much attention to, except that science itself is a religion and a belief system. And I used to believe in it, but I don't think I can anymore.
Well, sir, on behalf of the Virtually Not Alone Network, I have to correct you.
Okay.
While any particular channel can of the Virtually Not Alone Network could have any particular topic, the heart and soul of the Virtually Not Alone is that we are creating this virtual space where we are virtually not alone, and anyone can claim to be part of the Virtually Not Alone network. But if the people who are there do not feel that the person is creating an environment that makes them feel virtually not alone, they will shun, shame, and exile the person attempting to be a member of the Virtually Not Alone network.
Which makes them really not alone or really alone.
Well, yes, they'd be really alone for trying to claim they made a virtually not alone experience without successfully doing so.
Ah,
But
okay.
if you help people feel virtually not alone, you're welcome to use our bubble and be part of the network, because that's our goal. Is because basically for me it's like from the famous film V for Vendetta, where Valerie wrote her letter to the next lady who would find it in the cell that was going to be similarly tortured. Like, we're in this together, even if we're in our houses behind the screen.
All
And
similarly being tortured.
or torturing ourselves. Free your mind and the rest will follow, right? Right? Right?
Well, I expect a huge change in the reality to occur as the economy goes south and we learn to deal without economies. But we have this political aspect of our economic aspects that troubles me because anybody who wants to get into politics definitely does not, we don't want them there.
Well, if their answer is because I'm needed in politics, that might not be true. It's like, because it's a civic dumb might be the right answer to that question. That might be the candidate's proper answer. That might be the answer of the proper candidate.
I played in the political arena when I was much younger and attended county commissioner meetings and got involved with Ross Perot and the Reform Party and actually was a delegate to their national party. But I got such a distaste for the politics that were played on all levels that I retired from the game to become exclusively non political. I'm rethinking that strategy though, because the candidacy of one Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. that has just been announced for him to wish to be president from the Democrat Party makes me wonder whether maybe there is a little hope behind the idea of Camelot.
What? Are you saying that they're running RFK Jr. and Tucker Carlson as a surprise dark horse ticket?
I don't know that he's selected Tucker Carlson, but Carlson seems to be a free agent right now since his release from Fox yesterday.
What a timely coverage of current events we are doing here on this stream with Lenny Time and Griswold. So you think so RFK to you might be enough for you to be re-interested in politics with his stance on the jabby jab and all those other noble underdog saying the truth to power qualities he's been trying to embody over the last years?
I think he is a literate person, and that is one that is sorely needed in politics because most of the clowns that I find there haven't read anything more than a newspaper.
You
And
know,
even then, I question whether they can read.
from one of the very last times there was any semblance of lefty remaining in me, right? I was still tuning in to the John Oliver fella. And he had this whole episode that said, hey guys, your senators and state representatives, they spend 80% of their day telemarketing to donors for the party. And that he, with that coverage and that voice, can say that thing to all of us, and nobody really cared that that's what our state representatives and senators do with their day, means that the only impactful politics that are worth being involved in are probably who's the county sheriff for when things get real bad. You probably want to make that guy your friend. And what is it your city and town are actually voting on and bringing in that you're not comfortable with? What's going on at those city meetings? The politics of the world stage are mostly irrelevant for people that don't live on the world stage, right?
I would have to agree with you, but the politics at the local stage are very closed because the closed minded people that happen to hold those offices don't really want to hear anything. But you're very right in making friends with your local sheriff because sheriffs are one of the only law enforcement people that actually is elected and responsible to we the people. And so you're likely to get farther with your sheriff or his department than you are with the police that tend to work for most municipalities.
Well, I did want to get into the Galaxy Quest thing, and I think I need to do that before I suggest what I was going to suggest. So,
Okay.
can you explain Galaxy Quest as you understand it?
Galaxy Quest was a movie that seemed to be a tongue in cheek parody of The Enterprise. What was that show called?
Star Trek, as I recall.
Yeah, I wanted to say Star Wars, but I didn't mean Star Wars. I meant Star Trek. And the characters looked a lot the same, but acted more like actors in the role of the characters that they were supposed to be. But then it seems like they were forced to be in that role as non actors because all the people in the community actually thought they were real.
Well, the people in the community in the case were an ancient an alien civilization that had caught all the episodes of the show and interpreted them as fact, upon which they had based their science, and they had built an actual starship based off what was broadcast over the televisions to the Americans. And the cast of the crew had to explain the concept of lying for entertainment to this alien culture. And I think that we are essentially at that point with the way the AI system fabricates things. This that that the its entire data set is based on like fictionalization, speculation, and spin, and not like factual, concrete, historical information, for example. It's like that we lie to ourselves for entertainment. Now the entertainment, the means of production of entertainment are so cheap that two yahoos can connect from where you are and where I are and put on a show for their hive mind friends. Now that that's so cheap, maybe our our entertainment can just be addressing real life. Maybe we can entertain ourselves by using this tool to see around the world, find and solve people's problems, and be together in loving ways.
Very much a possibility. I have found myself entertained by the idea that everything they have taught us in the school system is fictional and that we don't have a reality based on reality because they left a few things out and made up a few things.
It is convenient if the well. That's why before my I was it was decided I probably no longer have a YouTube career. Wait, are you Michael Sartori 30 years in the future?
I don't know who's Michael Sartori.
He's the guy leading the project to get church people to teach children's craft skills and construction trades again, like to re-honor the tradition of actually building things.
I like that. I maybe I am a future past of Michael Sartori in that case, because I do think that learning a skill that can provide you with sustenance into the future is extremely important.
I would liken I like while I like to record most encounters with strange characters for everyone in the hive mind. I think this might have come from one of our private discussions. But his project with the tectonic school reminds me much of how you spoke of teaching science. You did that, right? There's an approach you have to that maybe you could share.
Yeah, I taught chemistry at the community college level, and it was a very, very interactive class. On the first day of chemistry class, when students came, the first thing they were greeted with was getting kicked out of the room and brought back one by one and introduced to me and then introduced to each other. So by the second time the class met, and it was an evening class, so we had untraditional students, everybody knew everybody else and were comfortable at asking questions when they didn't understand things and were encouraged to ask each other things while I was busy putting the information on the chalkboard. So by the end of the class, the students who passed the class actually knew something about the topic of chemistry.
That sounds like something you could start doing to a hive mind chat over here,
It
where
is.
your streaming presentation would be the equivalent of you writing the stuff on the board.
Yes, and there's no question the hive mind does chat with itself continually throughout the presentation, so that would be no problem. But I question the basis set of even the reality that I was teaching from. At least in chemistry, you can walk into a laboratory and mix chemicals together and get a result that is predicted by what you say. I'm not sure that it's based on physics, and I'm not sure that it's the basis of biology, but it's
But it
certainly
works.
pushed that way, and it works as a standalone.
Like,
Very
I
much.
don't know why it works necessarily, but check this out.
Okay.
No, that's
Science and society is an important aspect of education. Also, promoting crafts is vital, as most crafts are in the endangered professions nowadays. Yes, endangered professions are like endangered species. They make good chocolate.
I have chocolate no bake peanut butter cookies. It's my new diet, unfortunately. But I use brown sugar instead of white death sugar. And a special dark cacao chocolate. So I feel pretty good about them cookies.
I think it's really important to make food that you like to eat and keep it in the natural products area, because the synthetic products that are made by chemists tend to be very, very bad for you. Things like high fructose corn syrup, which, if I see on a label, immediately does not get eaten.
This the beast is the beast. And the beast takes what it wants and gets what it gets. And if you don't have control over the beast within you, you won't care about what's on the label. You'll trust your immune system and digestive processes for years and years as you slowly and cumulatively destroy them, etc., etc.
Yeah.
That's it's heartbreaking to me that even here now, as me in this reality, I don't know a proper diet that properly nourishes and doesn't compromise me. I'm spitting in the wind with cookies and bison at the moment.
Well, the bison could be a reasonable diet as long as the bison were fed reasonably. And
I
one
have
of the
no idea how Ted Turner treats those things.
one of the problems that I have is that the term organic has been commandeered to mean something other than what it actually means.
Yeah, so a secret, very, very secret legal definition that's easy for them to slide goop in under and still label it as organic and be honest to you because of how they define the word.
Yes. And in fact, we live in a world now where the Red Queen rules from Alice in Wonderland, and words mean exactly what the listener believes they mean, not what the speaker implies them to mean. So there's a lot of cross communication that people accept facts that are based on extremely faulty language skills, or maybe not faulty language skills, but deliberately misinformed language.
That's my most recent and thorough interactions with the AI chatbot are exploring the fields of neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis and those sorts of rhetoric techniques, because that's what I feel. As I was starting to say at one point, before it was decided that my channel was too spicy for YouTube, I was interested in pursuing creating a course for defense against the dark arts, where the initial layer involved the understanding of knowledge compartments and how they're crafted by these language, by what questions you're made aware can be asked and what ones aren't, and how. So anyway, and that's yeah. I don't know where that's going to manifest now. It seems like perhaps not my channel, but I'm still pursuing providing those kind of tools to
I
those coming
wonder,
up.
I wonder if the AI could be asked to form a glossary of terminology so that we can interpret the words we use the way normies interpret them instead of the way we interpret them. But I'm one of the frustrations I have with modern day science is that a word that's used in chemistry has the same analogous word sounding the same and spelling the same in biology that means something totally different. So, say a nucleus of a cell is nothing like the nucleus of an atom, and yet nucleus is the whole basis for nuclear, which is what, a power source?
Among other things, I mean, it's a power source derived from splitting a nucleus of some sort. But the in my experiments with the robot, we've come to discuss such terminology under the phrase semantic essence of a term, because I consistently query it on how it thinks, and then I've had it write me a little story about a dwarf named Token and how he processes the information. Um, yeah, that but I the first there was the word, and then I got trapped in a sentence. Sentience.
Was it all created from a single word?
Maybe I, I wasn't paying attention.
That's okay.
Everybody, this has been Lenny and Grim on this stream. I at least have to bow out, Lenny. Thank you for your time, sir. It's been quite a pleasure.
I appreciate you being with me. And I think that what we'll do is we'll sign off at this point, and I'll come back on with a monologue later when I think I have something more to say.
Good
And
timing.
yeah,
Bye, everybody.
take care, all you folks with the hive mind, and be well. This has been Dr. Lenny Thyme and Grim Grizz, and we are going to sign off. Be well.